The sun was setting over the small town of Willow Creek, casting a golden glow over the snow-covered streets. John, his wife Emily, and their 2 children, Jack and Lily, were driving home from a family gathering when their car skidded off the road and crashed into a snowbank. As they tried to free themselves, the family realized that they were stuck. The car's engine had died, and the cold was seeping in. John tried to call for help, but his phone had no signal. "I'm going to go find help," John said, trying to reassure his family. But as he stepped out of the car, he realized that the storm was getting worse. The wind was howling, and the snow was falling thick and fast. "I'll be right back," John said, trying to keep his voice steady. But as he walked away from the car, he realized that he was lost. The storm had disoriented him, and he had no idea which direction to go. Just as all hope seemed lost, a furry figure appeared out of the darkness. Max, the family's loyal retriever golden brown dog, had managed to escape the crash and had been searching for help. Max barked loudly, trying to alert anyone who might be nearby. But the only response was the howling wind. Undeterred, Max decided to take matters into his own paws. He knew that he had to get help, and fast. Max had been trained to respond in emergency situations, and he quickly sprang into action. He used his keen sense of smell to track down John, who was still wandering through the storm. When Max found John, he barked loudly, trying to get his attention. John was startled, but he quickly realized that Max was trying to tell him something. "Max, what is it?" John asked, trying to understand. Max barked again, and John followed him. Max led John back to the car, where Emily and the children were waiting. As John and Max returned to the car, they realized that the family's situation was getting more desperate by the minute. The cold was seeping in, and the children were starting to get hypothermia. Max knew that he had to get help, and fast. He barked loudly, trying to alert anyone who might be nearby. But the storm was getting worse, and it seemed like no one was coming. Max knew that he had to take matters into his own paws. He set off into the night, his paws crunching through the snow. He followed the road, hoping to find someone who could help his family. As he walked, the cold air stung his eyes, and his fur was covered in snow. But Max persevered, driven by his loyalty to his family. After what seemed like hours, Max saw a light in the distance. He barked loudly, hoping to attract attention. The light belonged to a small cabin, where an old man named George lived. George had been sitting by the fire, reading a book, when he heard Max's barks. He got up and opened the door, and Max rushed in, barking frantically. George quickly realized that something was wrong and followed Max back to the crash site. When they arrived, George was shocked to see the family huddled together, frozen and helpless. He quickly called for emergency services, and soon the family was being rushed to the hospital. Thanks to Max's bravery and George's quick thinking, the family made a full recovery. They were grateful to Max, who had saved their lives. As they sat by the fire, sipping hot chocolate, John turned to Max and said, "You're more than just a pet, Max. You're a hero." Max wagged his tail, happy to have done his job. The family never forgot the debt they owed to Max, and they made sure to give him all the love and attention he deserved. And as for George, he was hailed as a hero for his role in saving the family. He and Max became close friends, and George made sure to always keep a special treat on hand for the brave retriever.